Yo, ladies and gents, episode 125, the Riv Pod special edition here, little Bitcoin edition. Victorious, love the background. We're going
Yes.
here, June 26th. I want to get ahead of myself. June 26th, 2025, fam. We're doing it. Here it is, special Bitcoin edition. Make sure if you're out there,
Absolutely.
like, share, subscribe. We appreciate it, but we're going to get right into it, fam. I'm here on this Thursday. I'm just going to check the price real quick, but we have a couple topics that we want to get into for Bitcoin, including just, kind of intro to Bitcoin, the basics, who we follow or what we've read or kind of things that we think are important if you're getting into Bitcoin, just kind of breaking into it, dipping your toe into the waters. But fam, you have the price up there. I like it. What is it? 107?
107, $107,141. So, yeah, I mean, and it's just what it is. Yeah.
Victorious. I like that.
Few big buys here, right at 910. So, yeah, love to see it. It's like one of the first charts. Yeah, it's one of the first charts I actually can truthfully say. I seen this thing one time, just one of the first times I was looking at it like this right here, man. This is like the OG right here for me.
Unbelievable. So let's get right into it, Victorious. We'll get right into it. We want to keep this nice, quick, speedy, brief. Everyone, right? This
Yeah,
Bitcoin
quick transactions.
episode 125. We're on the Lightning Network, fam. Victorious, what do we got for if people are getting into Bitcoin? What are some of the important topics I have right here? Uh, 21 million total supply. I have Satoshi Nakamoto. I have the white papers, the Genesis block. I have hidden secrets of money. So
Six.
let's
Wow.
just kind of go off of that, fam. I don't know if any of
Yeah.
those you want to go into, but if you're getting into Bitcoin, what can any of these? How can they help you out?
Now, I mean, I think the number of 21 itself is a full, like, if you're in the Bitcoin world, you already know what 21 represents, and that's, 21 million, Bitcoin, which is
Fixed
what
supply.
fixed supply, baby, which is
You
that,
can't make any more. And yeah, we
cannot.
haven't still mining, right? The last block I think is mined in 2140.
Mm.
If we go to this is all math. This is all kind of figured out already in the
Yeah, not
Bitcoin
not a stock.
protocol.
Yeah, not a stock, not a share, not something you can like buy like multiple of, if that makes sense, fam. It's you're buying fractions of Bitcoins, at least, right now. So, yeah, you talk about 21, and you mentioned the white papers, Nakamoto. For me, the minute I realized Nakamoto was a thing, Satoshi, that was my wormhole, fam, which led to the white papers, which is, for anyone who knows, a white paper is essentially, a document, your thesis, your presentation of what it is that you believe your project is, and Satoshi wrote his white paper, and the timing of it couldn't have been any more perfect, fam. And you can segue right into a time when we both went into the job market right around this time without even knowing it, fam. Or maybe,
Yeah,
actually, I take that back. I sure as hell didn't know it. You.
I think I heard of Bitcoin a long time ago. Was somehow, it was in the radar, somehow in my atmosphere a long
Mm,
time ago. But yeah, originated, right? Like you said, Satoshi Nakamoto, the inventor of Bitcoin, right? He created Bitcoin. The pseudonym Satoshi. We don't know who it is or who that is really. But check, again, you can please, and one of the things, do your own knowledge, right? Make sure you
do it.
follow up what we're saying with your own research. Check out on the websites or the Google machine. Do your own knowledge. But yeah, the white papers is what he wrote, right, Victorious? Just kind of talking about the times, talking about QE, quantitative
Easing,
easing,
yeah.
and just basically printing money.
Oh, it's easing, not. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Again, I'm still learning a lot of these terms
Right.
myself, fam.
Believe me. And that's, we're still always learning. That's
For
one of the
sure, for
things.
sure,
That's one
for
of the things
sure.
about Bitcoin. And
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
plenty
yeah.
of acronyms and all that shit.
Yep.
Yeah, just goes back to the original, right? Created 2009, whatever the first block, the Genesis block, 21 million fixed supply. There's only ever going to be 21 million, right? Yeah, that's to me, that's kind of the basics. Kind of dive deeper into that if you're interested, right? And then before that, even I think a lot of people need to understand where money comes from, how money originated. Even if you want to talk about the U.S. dollar, and kind of get back to get to that before you understand kind of Bitcoin and the U.S. dollar. How all this kind of comes into play together and how it's all swirled up. But I think you kind of want to start there and figure out, what money really is, or what's been in historically, fam. I don't know if you want to speak on that.
I mean, I think it's a super relevant point, and I say it because it's whether it's a conversation with your loved one or it's at work, the conversation is typically you hear it. It's, oh my gosh, everything's going up. Oh my gosh, I'm not getting paid enough. Everything is built around like the dollar not necessarily holding up to what it is. You're talking about people with multiple jobs, so when you talk about wanting to like, or not wanting to, but essentially needing to learn and know about money, once you start to realize the reasons why the monies are, when people say, oh, inflation and deflation, and you're throwing out and you don't even know left from right, you're so deep into the matrix, you don't even realize it. So, let me tap back into it. It's really around, um, yeah, man, just kind of putting it all into sense, to be fair, fam. I don't know if that makes sense. I think I got lost in my thoughts there, fam,
No,
to
no,
be fair,
I think you're on
because
track. I think we want to, again, we want to reiterate, right? We want to reiterate there's a fixed supply of 21 million, right? Can't create 50 million if you feel like it, right? There's a fixed protocol. There's something called like the block distribution, right? So sometimes, and this is all has to do with computers, fam, has to
hmm
do with
hmm
mining, has to do with proof of work. So a lot of things that, please, again, jump into
right.
it.
Almost like before you can get into that, you have to kind of know like the basics of economics and kind of what makes you move, and that's the
Supply and
beauty.
demand, right?
All
Really.
all of those basics, some of what
Yep.
I would call basic things of economics, to be fair. And even if you go into it, heavy into the Bitcoin without maybe doing some of that, by nature, you're gonna have to. You're gonna be forced to. You're gonna just by right, like being a part of
Yeah,
it,
it's
you will.
so now, yeah, once you've, gone down the rabbit hole, Victorious, once you've gone down the rabbit hole and start to think about, hey, where does money come from? And you want to talk about getting off the gold standard in 1971. You want to talk about Jekyll Island in the Federal Reserve. Please, like, look, these are the things maybe that you have to look up or think about before you kind of, um, you know, I don't want to say accept Bitcoin or figure out Bitcoin, but you have to kind of figure out how the money's broken before you can understand that there's a solution, right? Um,
And it's broken, and it is broken.
yeah, yeah.
The money is broken. I
You
mean,
just
the
talked
fact
about everything's gone up in price,
everything's gone up
Victorious. It's
in
just gone up in
price.
everything. There's inflation
Your your
all over
wages
the
aren't
place.
going up,
Correct. 36 million, 37 trillion in debt. The United States is in debt. 25% of our tax payments are going to pay interest. We're 36 trillion in debt, Victorious. Talk about that. But for sure, those are the basics, fam. People,
basics.
if you want to, jump into Bitcoin, get started in the Bitcoin world, please look up Satoshi, see the white paper that he wrote. Victorious, that's a great way to put it, like the dissertation, right? Look into how money was created, look into the origins of money, right? Goes back to seashells, all that good stuff.
Yep.
Fam, let's segue into, how did you get kind of into the Bitcoin world, or even better, who are some of the people that have
Love it.
influenced you, Victorious, and some of the, maybe shows you watch or pods or books. Let's go down
Well,
that.
I'll just never forget the day you sent me the tweet with, Bitcoin, Michael Saylor, fam, the voice, what are we talking about here? The dance beat, fam, the Bitcoin.
Yes,
Come on now.
yes, the
Come
song.
on now.
What are we
It's
talking?
going up, Linda. You know what
Going,
I'm saying?
going up,
Like
going up,
going up,
going up,
going
going
up.
up.
So like, for me, that's to be fair, like you sent me it once. I think I disregarded it. I was like, and then a second time, like, yo, it got me. Truthfully, that's what kind of got me. And then I started realizing that through music, people are actually trying to give legit
Little
sound
bubble.
financial advice, fam. So I started to put like good music with good sound financial advice from what I was starting to learn about Bitcoin. And truthfully, Michael Saylor's voice was all over it. So for me, the OG of it all, in terms of like being somewhat of a newbie, is Michael Saylor. And,
Uh,
everyone can go into all the big, and then, I've evolved, fam. Pompliano right now, for me, with him and his wife, for me, that's the best thing going. We can get into, what Pomp's into right now, you know what I'm saying, and what he's going to be doing later on in the year. And I got some notes here to kind of go over to that. But between Saylor in the beginning, we talked about CJ in the last part, Chris
mm,
Johnson, shout out Chris Johnson.
mm,
We're talking about one, two, and then you got guys like Adam Back, fam, original cyberpunks, right? Guys who are really deep into it, stuff that, probably back in the day, my dad probably knows about him. You know what I'm saying? Probably
for
doesn't
sure.
realize them now, but back in the day when my dad was buying these old ass computers, these dudes are the ones leading the revolution. So yeah, Adam Back, Sailor, Pomp, I mean, CJ, I mean, those are four different huge, and by the way, I seen Sailor and Back in a pod the other day in Prague. That's crazy. I mean, it
That's
got deep.
awesome.
I had to rewind it a few times because you know what I'm saying. It gets deep, fam.
That's
So,
awesome.
so that's what I got. That's what I got.
No, I'm gonna piggyback right off of that, Victorious, and I think Michael Saylor, like you said, OG. He's with MSTR. He's obviously in deep, fam, leading
Fair.
all the Bitcoin treasury companies, like by far. Chris Johnson, huge. He's been huge on my personal journey. He's been huge for the last 5 years plus, fam. Really
Yep.
came through during COVID
Yeah,
that
that's
shit.
not even my guy. That's what I'm saying. Shout out to
Yo,
you. You
I
know what
mean,
I'm saying?
I share him with everybody, fam.
Nah,
Like
of
Wealth
course, of
Squad and all
course.
that stuff. I was part of that. I jumped out, you know what I'm saying? But still heavy with Chris Johnson. He's a top man for sure. And then Jack Mahler's obviously. We talked about Rajat. A couple people on YouTube. 88 Sats. I'm rocking with 88 Sats. Our man Oscar. I think
Oh yeah.
Oscar
You know.
Velez on YouTube.
Yeah.
Trading with
Yep.
Oscar. I think.
Yeah. Oscar's
There's
not Uncle's Oscar's OG, fam.
No, there's a lot of people, and then we talk about some of the books that we've read, and these, the Bitcoin Standard. Thank God for Bitcoin. The Price of Tomorrow. Those are three that
Price of Tomorrow. What a book. I
those are
mean,
those are three
you
right off the bat that I know. I
well,
audiobooks, and I know we pass. We share intel, fam.
Jeff
So
Jeff Jeff Booth is a I mean, I've seen enough
he's nice.
pods on him. I mean, this dude is he's on another again, some of these
He's
when you
nice.
can under when you can understand things at such a high level as some of these people that we are discussing, it's a God-given gift. A lot of it is hard work too, don't get me wrong, but a lot of this stuff is like, yeah, bro, these are the people who were doing special things as young kids. It's just wild, so
Well,
look at the signs.
you know what the best part is too, Victorious, is this free game.
Free game,
It's
bro.
like
And it's
free,
almost like,
heavy game. Like what? There's no
but
excuse out there.
with anything, fam, right? It's not financial advice. Do your own
Nah.
research.
Of
Not,
yo,
but
do your own
but
knowledge. Of
do
course, you
your
have to
own.
believe me. You gotta say right. You gotta
As we get deeper into it, as when I start like when my hands start moving, that's when I gotta say, yo, this ain't,
But for
and
sure,
it's
we
not.
we might have to link these people. CJ Rajat 88. You mentioned Adam Back. You mentioned Jack. Well, you talked about Jack Mahler's, but
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I had Pomp. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go into my
Mall.
list because I had. Yeah, I mean,
You're
again,
right. Do
there's
your
just
own knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Of course.
Jack Dorsey, you know what I'm saying? I mean, these are, these, it's like, come on now, Andreas Antonopoulos, these are, talking authors, but people who are deep into it, fam. Kathy Wood, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's just, even Senator Loomis, we're talking
For
about right
sure.
here in our government, so
Yep.
yeah, just so much
Plenty
pro.
of resources out there.
Plenty. And and again, I'm not big in, I know this might be separate and again, but it's like all this stable coin talk, fam. Again, I'm not huge on it, but it's like, what does this all mean, fam?
I'm just
Again, I
I
think what it means is for me, I think what it does for me is it attracts attention to the digital world and I'm okay with it. It may not be the Bitcoin stuff, if that makes sense, but it's digital and it's like eventually guess where all that's going to, fam,
yep. Digital
right?
gold.
Exactly. So for me, yeah, cool. Keep talking about all that Tether, all that USDC, because
Like,
guess where all that
hey,
fucking shit's going, bro?
Michael Saylor says, get that piece of Manhattan, right? You were buying a piece of
Come on.
Manhattan, like 300 years ago.
So funny to me.
Unbelievable. So yeah, that's all heading in that direction for sure. All digitized. Everyone doing the stable coins. New Hampshire's passed legislature. Make sure, yeah, just
Yeah,
do the knowledge. Plenty of knowledge out there, fam. So we mentioned a bunch of people. Maybe try to link some stuff or some pods. We'll try to hook the people up. But hit the Google machine. I know we're heavy on Twitter, fam. I don't have an Instagram account. Facebook, meh. I watch like cooking videos on Facebook. Um, but let's get into the next thing, fam. What was the last thing that we had on this intro?
yeah. We had, I mean, on the intro pod here, we talked about the topics here. Hold up. Yep, I got it right here.
We had, things that you think things we think you should know. The kind of those quick
We
topics
talked
there.
about, yeah, we talked, and then we kind of we're gonna segue a little bit into the middle part was like the figures. We kind of went into the intro part of it, and then as we kind of surmise here in the third part, just going into some, fundamentals, just even around security measures, fam, right?
Sure.
Best practices for safely storing and using Bitcoin.
Yeah. No, and I remember too. If we talk about best practices, I want to talk about. Hold on, I'm just trying to stall here, fam. Oh, Bitcoin basics. People, I don't know. To me, we talked about the basics already, right?
We did. We kind of went over at least that first part. I think with anything, fam, and we can always get heavier
Where?
and heavier
How
and
about
heavier
this?
into it.
Where can the people buy? Where are you buying from? If you buy Bitcoin, where are you buying from, fam? I'm buying
For
from Strike.
Yep,
Jack Mahler's company, trusted name in the game, plenty of trusted. And that's another thing too. No different than anything else.
yep,
There's some shisty stuff out there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's some shysters. You got to always keep your
Yeah.
head on a swivel.
I'll say
Be
this much,
mindful.
fam. I buy my stuff. I'm not even gonna shout out the wallet that I use, but I got a wallet, but this wallet allows me to use, multiple exchanges that, I already know are proven and that give me the best price.
I like that.
So at any point, I essentially take that and, the goal is to use that wallet and then, truthfully, in my eyes, store it in another wallet with more safety.
So that leads to right the next one, fam. Not your key. There's a couple sayings, right off the bat in Bitcoin in the Bitcoin
It'll,
world.
fam, it will blow people's minds away when you say this and when you first introduce it, fam.
Yep. Not your keys, not your coins, and also, fam. Want to bless the people. What do you got for the other one?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's going up forever. Laura is definitely one of mine.
How about you get the price you deserve?
That's a
You
good
get
one.
the price you deserve. So not your keys, not your coins. So basically, if you can't do what and this kind of gets into the heavier stuff into Bitcoin. For now, get your Bitcoin, buy your
Yeah,
Bitcoin. All
those
right.
those are better sayings. My forever going up is more like, not like in your face, like rubbing it, which I'm not really trying to do,
No.
but
You get the price you deserve is
that,
one.
that is a great one.
Some people think that the price being like you said 107,000, you have to buy a whole Bitcoin, and that's man who's got 107 107 racks just to throw on a Bitcoin. I don't think many people do. But what you can do is buy pieces of it. You can buy $100 worth, $50 worth, $10 worth. So you think it's better to dollar cost average lump sum? What are your thoughts on that?
I'm still finding that out, fam, to be fair. I think I'm still early in the game enough where I'm just trying to get it wherever I can. I'm trying to
Amen.
accumulate. I'm not really, I think at some point, right, I'll get to that point and maybe I should get there sooner, but I'm just trying to accumulate, baby. I don't care what price, I'm buying whatever price, whatever time. I bought at multiple hours. It's just kind of like my practice,
Yep.
and
We're
I'm sure there
just
might be others. But again, that's kind of my thing. So yeah, I mean,
no,
to hear,
to me, I do both. I think both is a good combination. Like, yo, if you got an extra, I
well,
try to,
you can't go wrong with either, right?
right, for sure. First of all, get in the game. If you can just get in the game, get in the game. All right. I
Absolutely.
try to buy weekly, have like a little auto buy,
For
just an
sure.
auto, just, instead of buying, a couple lunches during the week, let me buy 25 bucks of Bitcoin. And then
Oh,
if
I
I got,
mean,
if I got an extra 100, if I win a little bet, if I got an extra 100 bucks,
well, I'll
let
tell
me,
you right now,
fam. So it's a good
I've
combination
been,
of both,
I've never really looked at it like that up until this fiscal year, and I can tell you,
right? Yeah, if you
yeah,
got
just
a little
think,
extra change
yeah.
on a bet, oh man, I came into a little $100. Oh yeah, let me spend 70 on Bitcoin and do something else with the rest.
For me, it just, I'm not saying it makes me move different in any way. For me, it just makes me a little bit more aware of things around my, it just makes
Nah,
me a
nah,
little bit more aware.
fam. You said it right. You're moving different.
I'm moving different.
And that's the thing too. When you get in the Bitcoin game, You can't help but move different.
It's yeah, it's almost innate. Yeah, it's almost like, yeah, get ready.
Unbelievable. So yeah, we just last parting words, fam. I'll give you the last. Take a minute or two as we leave episode 125, the Bitcoin Victorious. Javier, we're here on this June night, coming into July 4th. God bless America.
God bless Bitcoin.
What can you tell us, fam? What can you tell the people here?
Yeah, man. Basically, yeah, this is it, man. We trying to do it like this, quick, short. If it's got to be 40, it's got to be 40. But 15, 20, 30 minutes, just hitting you with whatever's got to be from our angle. So yeah, man, we're just trying to spread the good word, what we know. And yeah, I don't know, fam. For me, it's really about spreading knowledge. Do your own knowledge. That's the best I can do. I mean, for me, it's about mainstream. At what point does it start to really tap into the mainstream? It hit me. I never thought that it would ever hit me, to be fair.
Now, all good stuff, Victorious. I think you're right. It's definitely getting more mainstream. We talked about legislature. We talk about this. I've seen commercials for it. There's much more
Same.
sponsorship
Just
for it.
just just a lot
Um,
more even.
it's out there in the world. So the last thing for me is we dropped a lot of knowledge on this episode here on 125, and we dropped it quickly, fam.
That's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep.
Dropped a lot of knowledge. So make sure you go back, tap in with Satoshi, look into the origins of money, tap in with some of the people that we mentioned. Victorious mentioned some great ones. Tap in with some of the books, connect with fam, some of the sayings. Do your own knowledge, do the knowledge, fam.
There's yeah,
Connect with you get the price you deserve.
hodl.
Connect with not your keys, not your coins. And if you have questions, shoot us some questions. But yeah, plenty of places. Just get started, get in the game is what that's how I want to leave it, is get in the game.
Mm,
And then once we'll talk about storage and plenty of places to do all that, and cold storage. We talked about it briefly, but we can get into that heavy.
yep.
Get into
Oh, and we and we
We will for sure. Episode 125. We appreciate the love and support, man. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and drop us any comments, questions. We'll follow up. For Victorious Javier, we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.